Because you forget. You forget what God has done here, what we've done. A year seems to fly by, and yet when you look at all that's happened, you're like, man, all that happened in 1 year. So the context of this whole thing is God's faithfulness. So when I say we did, it's God did through us. And this is what you've done, what you've helped to do, what we feel God has led us to do, and what we've accomplished by His Spirit, what He's doing here at St. Andrews and Hollywood in our own lives. First of all, just a financial update. So we ended the year with a $15,000 surplus, 15 and change. Yeah, that's great. And this happens quite frequently. In the fall, we're running a deficit, and because we are of little faith, we start to worry. And this fall, we have about a $40,000 deficit. That was closed to about $20,000 the beginning of December. And we had our stewardship team speak to you. I think we had an email go out, but God was just faithful through you all, and we not only closed the gap, we ended with a surplus, which just gives us more resources to use in ministry for His kingdom. So we're excited about that. And in case you didn't know, we have online giving now. And I've been announcing that for about a month. Well, the first thing I want to highlight is, satisfying God, loving one another, doing good in the world. This is our mission. This is what we're about here. And this can't be understated. Satisfied in God, everything we do is about God's glory. And so when we talk about events throughout the year, we forget we have major events every weekend called worship, the Lord's Day, Sunday services, over 100 of them a year. And we pray we are giving glory to God through that. Some other things that we did is we have all church Sunday school classes 4 times a year for a whole month. And we really try to focus that on the glory of God and what He's doing in His Word. And so in January last year, we went over the simple plan. We said we've had 200 new members come into St. Andrews in the time that the simple plan was launched. So we walked everybody through that once again last January. In April, we had a class called The Mission of God. And that was just what's the story of the Bible and how do we read the Bible. And then October, the reason for God. And so really trying to equip you with that and help these truths to sink in so that we are so satisfied in Him. But also we want to spread that out. And so we're trying to reach the community, reach the world for the same purpose, to be satisfied in God. So we had our first Spanish services held here at St. Andrews. Where's Jorge? Awesome, yeah. And I see, let's clap it. And so once a month up here, they have worship services. Well, some of us are downstairs and some of us are up here. And so we've had 2, right? And the third one is when? Last Sunday this month. Okay. So be in prayer for that ministry. Over 20 people come to worship in their native language. We're happy about that. New City Fellowship services began in August. So New City Fellowship is a church plant that we partner with. We're the mother church, so to speak. It's not too far from here. And it's been going for a couple of years. But this August, they started actual Sunday worship services. And we're just excited about that. And a number of our members here are helping them. Actually, they're there today, helping them do that. And I understand from John Homeless that they have about 50 people come each week. So that's just exciting. We've also adopted it's an Eastside Nursing Home cert. It's really Eastside Active Living Center. I got to change my vocabulary. And we do twice a month services over there. It's just a few miles away. You could even actually. I once saw a resident there. Susan's told me the story. She was walking around our church. It's a few miles away, and so Susan gave her a ride home. Well, we do worship services there twice a month. We hope you'll join us for some of those. So just excited about that. We also launched Enact, and that's our small group program, and everything falls under Enact. That stands for entry groups, neighborhood groups, affinity groups, content groups, task groups. So Bible study, Sunday schools, home groups, all fit under Enact. And what it is it's a quarterly system where we have 1 month off, 2 months on, 1 month off, 2 months on. It helps you to be able to think when off months or on months are. We had at least 5 new groups start this year. We started back a hybrid of Wednesday night suppers. So we would have like 3 or 4 groups meeting here. We'd have pizza together. So that's something we did last year, and trying to just engage our congregation and get into small groups as TJ often beats that drum. Loving one another, again, men's and women's ministry are just flourishing. So we've had 43 guys in the men's retreat this year, up from 27 the last year. We've had about 58, 60 guys in men's breakfasts. The previous year it was only maybe in the 20s or 30s. The women had 40 women at their retreat, and also they hosted the Nancy Guthrie conference that brought in 150 women from 30 churches. So just some cool stuff. Of course, those are events, right? We have weekly Bible studies. We're always telling you about that, but there's so many ways to get engaged in men's and women's ministry here. Youth ministry with under Chris Curtis, which they've just done some great things. A big focus on reaching the community, on actually like being the hands and feet of Christ out in the community. And the fact that we're planting New City Fellowship has really helped that. So Chris has come alongside them with our youth. They did spring break park initiatives with the homelesses that were just great. And what's cool is as the youth go, the parents go, and then others in the congregation want to go. And so we're really trying to canvas Hollywood with love. And so I'm just happy that the youth are helping lead the way in that. There were the Sent Summer initiatives, which again were through New City Fellowship. They did urban ministry training in Chattanooga. That's his Chattanooga mission trip under Lucas. We had gone here a few years and then we stopped because we had done it. Well, now we're bringing it back because it's been a few years and it really was life-changing for the youth that went on that trip. So we're happy about that. Also, we did a first youth inquirers class that we've in a number of years. I know we've had this in the past. So Chris walked all the youth through an inquirers class to let the youth know what we believe here in case they don't go through the adult inquirers class. Church communication. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this because how do we communicate the story of what God is doing here at St. Andrews? And if we can't communicate it internally, we're not going to be able to communicate it out externally. So this year, I really spent a lot of time on how we let you all know what's going on here, what God is doing here. And really took the form of three things. One, a new bulletin format, which was very subtle, but hopefully things are organized in there in such a way that you can find what's going on. Also, the new boards that line these the hallways downstairs. I don't know if anybody looks at them, but I do know if a visitor walks in, they'll see, oh, look, they have a men's ministry, they have a women's ministry. We try to keep them updated. I hope you're looking at them. And then the new flat screen. So we have slides going before and between services, just again to let you know, to catch your attention with such a digital age, to catch your attention, to let you know what's coming up and what we're doing here. Not so that we keep it here, because we want to then spread that out, and we hope this year is a big year to help do that. Also, we spent a lot of time trying to stir up hearts of service in the community. It started last year with Poverty Inc. So we hosted a showing here. I think it was a Wednesday night. Many of you came out for that. We raised some money for the Misumalis in Malawi during that. We had the Workout What God Worked In Ministry Fair, just to show you all the opportunities we've had here. The youth did the 30-hour famine, which was gaining awareness here among the youth, famine in the world, and a lot of adults partnered with them in that. And then the whole month of July was a Target ministry focus, where we had every week different Target ministries presenting to you about ministries they've started, that we've helped them start, that they started, and how you can partner with them. And really, again, to stir up hearts of service among all of us. Some of the things that we did, I already talked about the spring break initiatives. VBS, we had 100 kids. You know, some of these things are like, yeah, we just do VBS every year. That's 100 kids we had on our property. The Sent Summer initiatives, the Jamaica mission trip, which that was just such a blessing for me because we have a lot of people from Jamaica in our congregation, and they all went back and they shared their culture with us, but then we got to just learn about that beautiful place. And a number of the people on that trip are actually supporting a young lady to go to college in Jamaica. And it's a result of that trip, and so that's our people doing it. It's just awesome. And the Chattanooga mission trip, again, under the Doing Good in the World heading. The second half of the year, that was the first half. Second half of the year, ESL ministry started back up. Norm Box and Paulette, they spearhead that. And Gordon Wooley, there's a lot of people in here involved in ESL. It takes a lot to pull off. How many people in ESL now, Norm?
Students?
Yes.
Students, we average around 50 per week.
Okay, so 50 people a week are coming here. It takes about that many volunteers. So, but fall festival. You know, this year I heard this was the best one ever, and you know what, it wasn't the best one ever because this church has a long history of doing that, but it feels good that we can say each year that it's the best one ever, and it was a beautiful time sharing with the community. New City Fellowship, we're just supporting them. East Side, we talked about. A lot of Thanksgiving and Christmas outreaches, and too much to go over now, but we just did, we were out in the community, at the nursing home, in the neighborhood. Glad to do that. Here's some numbers for you those of you that like numbers. You wonder how are we impacting, what are we doing? This is, and I know it's small and there's a lot, and I think we're filming this so we could always get this out, but this was what was done through the Mercy team, and not only what was done through the Mercy team, but just in Easter we did 30 food boxes. So when you bring in the food for that, that's 30 food boxes. For back to school, 88 backpacks, and we also donated 10 Amazon Fires to a reading program. There's Debbie Riddle. She's starting a reading program at the school she teaches at, just down the block. It's a Title I school, low income, they have reading problems, and she's starting a reading problem with Josie, I believe, and so we were able to donate to that. Broward Outreach, we did 100 meals, 40 boxes, also feeding 77 people in the area. The Broward Outreach is separate. All these Christmas initiatives. Do you feel good about what God's doing here in and through us?
Amen.
I hope so. Some money. You guys like to look at money. This is not like the operating budget. This is just money that we send out to support things. So mission support almost $100,000 last year. Mercy Ministry spending $32,000. Mercy in Kind gift $22,000. What that is that's the house for the well, right? We could rent that out. They record that as a gift that we're giving them, so we record it on our end. Think about that. Like, it's not just some piece of property sitting there. We could rent it out and earn income on it, but we're so committed to the work that the well is doing that we are letting them use it. Over 10,000 in outreach activities. We have to know about these numbers. It doesn't include the staff. It doesn't include the other office support that's required to do that. For instance, a large percentage of Dwight and Gordon and even Mary's time and their job descriptions are dedicated to Mercy Ministry, and those numbers aren't in here. So we're actually doing a lot more than you see here. Okay, so 2016, awesome year. I hope you feel good. I hope you could communicate that to the world. Let people know what God is doing in and through you, in and through St. Andrews. We do a lot here. To His glory. For 2017, I don't think I have these in any particular order, but just some things to look forward to. So the youth is going to Friday night meetings instead of Wednesday nights, and Chris has been meeting and talking to parents. And the idea is, in this busy life schedule, people have sports, people are trying to get home from work, and it's hard to get the youth here. So Friday nights, he's thinking, not only can more people get here, but they're going to have longer meetings, which means to be able to go deeper. Did those start yet? Okay. The 13th they start. There you go. And Friday the 13th. So. Constantly improving communication. We have a new website, and if anybody was on it, listen, I don't think anybody ever goes on our website until it goes down, and I get all the phone calls. Dwight, it's all the phone calls. So we have transitioned the website. We have a newly designed website. Let me see if I can go to it. It's not too difficult. There it is. Maybe it looks similar. When you go on your own computer, you'll see it's pretty awesome, actually. You have easy access to the sermons. You can even look at them by speaker. We have articles, blog posts, all kinds of things. The calendar's on there. So check out our new website. It just launched last week, and it's not fully updated, and so we'll be working on that. We also have a mobile app, and it's not ready. But if you've got an Android phone, you can try to find it on Google Play. And this is awesome. You're going to be able to, just right on your home screen, see the sermons. There's a giving button there. You can get resources. There's calendars right there. If you want to know what time something is, you just click on it. So it'll be available on Apple. Apple Store? I don't know, an Android user, and then Google Play. You can already look at it for it in Google Play, so we hope to do that. And then we hope to be having videos and articles posted, and you guys can share these things, and hopefully that'll be a blessing for you. Hopefully this video will come out. Maybe that'll be online too. So for 2017, we want to continue partnering with New City Fellowship and just keep supporting them. This was a picture from their launch weekend in September, and you probably recognize faces because a good half of them are from this church. Every week people are going there helping them set up, do childcare for them, all kinds of things so that they can worship. And our church is just partnering with them on that. We want to continue to do that and see them grow and just helping us cast a net over Hollywood. Very happy about that. Same thing with Eastside Active Living Center. We had a great Christmas program that we did for them. So every 2 weeks we do worship, and then we had a Christmas program. Gordon delivered the word. Dwight delivered a great message. We had a homeschool group. 2 homeschool groups meet here every week. One Monday nights, or one Mondays, one Tuesdays. And one of the groups came and did Christmas carols. And there's John. I didn't even know he could play the guitar. But we want to do more with them. It's so close to us. We could be ministering to the families of those people. That's just a cool anecdotal story. So while we were there, a woman was coming in. She was visiting her mother, I believe. Why are you guys here? Oh, we're doing a Christmas program. And she said, why? And I said, well, we want to share the love of Christ with your parents here. And we have weekly worship service. Well, what was my mom involved? I said, sorry, I don't know your mom, but here's the activity. But we want to minister to the families, not only to the people in the home, but let's show the families what the church can do for God's glory. There's probably service projects we can do there, so just keep that in prayer and in mind. We want to help you share your faith. That's from 1 Peter. We'll be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks for the reason or the hope that lies within you. And so this year, we just want to really help equip you for this purpose. So you saw last year, we're just giving you cards to hand out to neighbors. We're going to look for a lot more opportunities to share with your friends, coworkers, the people at Einstein's and Starbucks, what Jesus is doing in your life, inviting them to church, growing this community for the glory of God. And that's a hope for us. Very excited about this. This is Dr. Warren Gage. He was my seminary professor. He was Lucas's seminary professor. A lot of people that have gone through Knox have had him. TJ's developed a friendship with him, and TJ has asked him to teach a 5-week seminar here on the story of the Bibles. So we did sort of like this last year, and now we're going to have a seminary professor do this for us. It's going to be in April. I've always said, if that man's teaching could just reach the broader church, not just seminary students. And here he's done that. He started a ministry called the Alexandria Forum. He's left teaching in seminary to do just this, to help that get out to people who can't go to seminary. You guys need to be here for that. It's awesome. The Ligonier Conference. The donors said they were going to donate 20 tickets to the first 20 people. And we had 50 people sign up. And I went to them and I said, what do you want me to do, a lottery? And they said, we're going to cover all 50 people. And so this is in March. It is too late to get in on it. Actually, God's providence, we got the last tickets. Actually, when I was putting my order in, I was on the phone with the lady. They shut it down. And she said, I'm trying to get yours in. And so that's just going to be a fun time for our community, 50 people. So what a blessing that is. And just for you all to know, last year we had a deacons retreat. And that was in the fall. And we were just, as a church leadership and deacons, trying to think through how we do deaconing, mercy ministry, looking at the finances, ushering, all these types of things in a new cultural context, perhaps. We're going to have that for the elders now, and that'll be at the end of January. And who could believe 2020 is right around the corner? That doesn't. It sounds like some fantasy science fiction. 2020 is right there, and so the elders are going to get together at the end of January and just say, how is St. Andrew's positioned to minister to the needs of people in the year 2020, to people in Hollywood, Florida, to us. So just be praying for the leadership of this church so that we can properly discern what God and the Spirit is doing here and how we can let that go out into our communities and into the lives of our members. And that was a lot, right? Hopefully, you can't absorb it all, but what I want you to feel is, man, God is at work here at St. Andrews and hopefully in Hollywood. And how can I partner with it? How can I engage it? Feel good about what God is doing in and through us. It's a beautiful thing. That's all, T.
All right, fantastic.